Hey friends, Pastor Ray. Welcome to Refuel. I'm going to be with you the entire week, Monday to Friday, and I'm very passionate about what I'm going to walk you through because there's an epidemic in our culture right now, and it's triggered by a study. Mental health experts say depression is about 10 times more common in our day than it was in the 1960s, even though we're richer and better educated. Evidently, we are richer, smarter, sadder people. The average age for depression in 1960, the onset of it, was 29 and a half. Today, it's 14 and a half. 14-year-old kids should not have to carry that kind of weight. And I think the root of that is this. 4 words, either the 4 most destructive words in the English language, and here they are. It's just too late. When that disease is Satan's favorite lie, it's just too late. It's just too late for you. It's just too late for you to deepen your relationship with God. It's just too late for you to live a life of impact. It's just too late for you to recover from something. It's just too late to build a better marriage. It's just too late to heal a relationship with your family. It's just too late to make it, and there's whatever it is, it's just too late. The minute that lie gets into your soul, it replaces faith and hope and love with discouragement and depression and distance from people, okay? And why is it the 4 most discouraging words? Everybody in the Bible that I can find was afflicted with it and had to overcome it, okay? For example, Peter, it's just too late. I've failed too often. Anybody done that? Second, Job, it's just too late. I've lost too much. Some of you know the pain of that. Third, Elijah, it's just too late. I'm too discouraged. Jonah, it's just too late. I'm too rejected, literally discarded by people, but not by God. Abraham, it's just too late. I'm way too old. Anybody feeling that? Or Joseph, it's just too late. My family background is too dysfunctional. Timothy, it's just too late. I'm too afraid. I'm too insecure, and I'm too racked with anxiety. Or Joseph, it's just too late. The temptation is just too tough. Or Lazarus, I love Lazarus, it's just too late. I'm too dead. Okay? Everybody in the Bible was afflicted with this, it's just too late, for some underlying cause. One guy in the Bible was hit by all of them. His name is Moses. And we're going to spend this week having a conversation about Moses, because here's what happens to Moses. All of a sudden, Moses, he is in Egypt. Okay? They've been slaves in Egypt for 400 years. They cry out. God hears it, and God says to Moses, go to Pharaoh, which is a scary thing, and tell Pharaoh, let my people go. And so Moses goes to Pharaoh and says, let my people go. Pharaoh says, no. God says, oh, and Pharaoh made a strategic mistake. He looked at Moses and said, who is the Lord that I should obey him? Well, God being God, of course, overhears this and decides to show Pharaoh exactly who they are in 10 what I'd probably call audio-visual presentations. We know this is the 10 plagues. 10th plague, he calls for Moses, and Pharaoh says, take these people and go. And they all march out with high hopes. And here's where we're going a little bit today and a lot tomorrow, with high hopes. And then all of a sudden, Pharaoh goes, wait a second. That was a mistake. We just lost all the free help. And he gathers his entire army. And he says, go out and get them. They see Pharaoh coming and they panic. And by the way, when things aren't going your way, when it looks bright and all of a sudden it turns, when nothing's going your way, there are healthy responses and there are unhealthy responses. And they have 5 unhealthy responses. And all of us have things not going our way. It's not those circumstances, it's our response to it that determines my inner condition and my outside life. And so what happens is this, it's not my way. They had 5 destructive responses. I'm going to give you the first now and the next 4 tomorrow. Destructive response number 1 is this, looking only at circumstances. Looking only at circumstances. In other words, why is that a big deal? What you look at is going to determine your we all focus on something. What you focus on is, the problem is not the problem. When I'm focusing only on the problem, that leads to only defeat. And that's exactly what their first destructive response is right here. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up. And there were the Egyptians marching after them, and they were terrified and cried out to the Lord. What they looked at determined their internal. When they looked at the gigantic problem, they were terrified to determine their inner condition. In other words, most of our inner condition is going to be determined by what we choose to focus on. And I got discouraged a long time ago. Well, I get discouraged all the time, but this one stayed a while. And what freed me from it was one quote from an 80-year-old woman who had spent time in a concentration camp, lucky to get out alive. Her sister was killed in that same concentration camp, and it's Corrie ten Boom. And write this down, memorize this, whatever. I'm discouraged, and I wasn't bouncing back. And then I read this quote. She said, look around and be distressed, look inside and be depressed, or look at Jesus and be at rest. I'll tell you that one more time. Look around and be distressed. Look inside and be depressed, or look at Jesus and be at rest. Counteracting number one is a really big deal. I'll give you the next 4 tomorrow. Hope this is a great day for you. God bless.